Oh, it's good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So, as a brief introduction, my name is Barongo, and we are working with Ovita Productions to prepare a short documentary on the development of pharmacy practice and training in the country, and to celebrate the milestone of pharmacy. UN Pharmacy School at 50. And we're going to be taking visuals and audio recordings, and we are glad that you have consented to take part in this process. And so, as we begin, could you kindly introduce yourself so that we get to know more about you and how you have come into the field of pharmacy practitioner?
Okay. My name is Isaac Ongubo Kibwage. I am a pharmacist. I am a professor of pharmaceutical chemistry of University of Nairobi, actually retired. Currently, I'm the Vice Chancellor, Egerton University.
Okay. And where did you get your pharmacy training?
I'm in the class of 1979.
1979, so that's the first class of UN?
No, that's the second class
The
of
second
UN.
class of
Yes,
UN.
we were the second class.
Okay, okay. And so tell us more of your undergraduate experience in UN as the second class.
Well, it was challenging because the profession was coming into fog then, and we had to more or less define the pharmacy student within the medical fraternity. So I know we were very active, including starting the Nairobi Pharmacy Students Association. I was the first chairman. Yes.
That's, wow. So you already had milestones even when you were a student?
Even when I was a student, yes.
Okay. So coming in after graduation, what sectors of pharmacy did you practice in?
Actually, immediately after graduation, I did my internship. And shortly after being registered as a pharmacist, I got a scholarship to go and do my master's in Belgium, Catholic University of Louvain, where I then went, did my master's up to 82, and continued to do my doctorate, which I finished in October 2nd, 1985.
Okay. And so you then went into, did you practice in?
Then I came back immediately and went to teach.
To teach?
Yes, pharmaceutical chemistry.
Okay, so in the academic field?
In the academic field. Okay. But while I was doing there, I did a lot of consultancy, private, consultancy for the government. And also I did consultancy for WHO, and I did some, I was even in the panel of experts on dosage forms of WHO.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's so you have held many positions of influence is what I'm hearing as you were practicing.
Yes.
Could you elaborate more on how that helped you serve and how that helped you make an impact in the field?
Well, the positions are very, as you say, positions of influence. I have tried to use them for guiding the pharmacy profession within the country, orienting it from the earlier fixation on just community practice. So first I've been, as I've said, I've been instrumental in a number of things. Let me start by saying that as somebody who was trained in pharmaceutical analysis, so I did a lot of consultancy for the Ministry of Health on issues of drug registration. Drug registration is certification for a drug to be on the Kenyan market. I was a member, then I was chairman before I left. I have also served as a member of the Pharmacy and the Poisons Board. Then during that tenure at the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, we actually wrote the national drug policy. I don't know whether since then they have reviewed it, but we did write it. We have done a number of write-ups. I was in the consultancy and the team that wrote the establishment of the National Drug Quality Control Lab, which has been in operation over a number of time. As I've said, I have been in as a consultant with, or we call it a committee of experts of WHO. We wrote a series of, I can't remember whether it's the 36th series in the issues of drug dosage forms. That is outside. Inside the university itself, which was obviously my core business, I was the chairman of the Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry for 9 years. During that period, I introduced, which was the first training, postgraduate training in Masters of Pharmaceutical Analysis. Then I became dean. When during my tenure of deanship, I managed to push through the training on clinical pharmacy at the University of Nairobi. The issue of, after that, I think I moved to be the principal, College of Health Sciences. During that period, I facilitated the passage of the Master of Pharmacy in Industrial Pharmacy, Master of Science in Pharmacoepidemiology, Master of Science in Clinical Pharmacology. There are others I can't remember. So what I can say is I have made an impact.
In the field.
I can be called the father of postgraduate pharmaceutical training. No, pharmacy, there are others who are there. Professor Maita is there, the late Professor Murioki, the lecturers who taught me, they are there. But for postgraduate, that was the first one, so this MU started it, and I'm glad it has grown. But the one which I've seen impact mostly is the one of clinical pharmacy, which I put through despite having shortages of staff. But that's when I was dean. But I think it's the one which is it has really made an impact in the practice of pharmacy. Okay.
So, as the father of postgraduate pharmaceutical studies, when you look at the practice, or at least training you are in at the moment, what changes would you make to improve it?
The improvement that will be required is, you know, we have a lot of challenges in the way we train because of resources. It's not lack of the knowledge to train, it's training, applying that knowledge you have in the training in restricted or resource-constrained environments. So what I would like obvious to see is sufficient resources to support fully the training, elastic training, because that also allows the students to finish in a timely manner that makes it more attractive to students.
Okay, thank you. Perhaps I'm trying to condense the questions.
No, ask them all.
I ask them all. Okay. So, what more would you have wished to do during your tenure in office as dean or as chair of the department? What more do you wish you would have done to? Yeah.
Well, the only thing that I started when I was the principal is the building of the pharmacy, the School of Pharmacy, which is there. I was actually seeing on Saturday people are being taken on a tour of the school. these are things that I had to negotiate at higher levels, and I hope that it will continue being built until it is completely finished, such that the whole school is housed in one place. That's my desire for the training of pharmacy in the University of Nairobi. I would also like to say that I have mentored many people in the School of Pharmacy, University of Nairobi, and specifically in my own discipline. I can say that I have one full professor there whom I mentored, Professor Toiti. I have Professor Boga and Professor Ndwiga, who are associate professors. Then we have other senior lecturers and what. I also did mentor my own lecturers to be able to finish PhDs, and which allowed them to progress and get at least associate professor before they retired.
Okay. And from I guess from the discussions, what I'm hearing is that you have been in the pharmacy field for a really long time, since 1979, and at least you have witnessed the evolution of pharmacy in Kenya. And perhaps maybe you can summarize that for us. And
I really cannot say I have the history of pharmacy. They are colleagues of mine. I think whom you are going to interview will have better the history of pharmacy. But I can only tell you that since I finished my PhD and came back, I've been very active since 1986. I've been chairman of the Pharmaceutical Society for a total of 6 years. 1 year in 90, I can't recall exactly, but then in 2002 to 2007, I was running as the chairman of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, until I became very busy as the principal, so I had to relinquish that one. So I have been intimately involved with the issues of the practice. I have colleagues, I interact, I consulted in the industry, I guided them, I guided in the understanding and evaluation of drugs for purposes of allowing them to be on the Kenyan market. I'm trying to see which area I haven't had my fingers in the recent any. Yes.
Okay. Well, now forgive me. I wasn't present in, before the 2000s, and here, how did the onset of technology affect practice? For instance, perhaps the internet, when the internet became readily available, how did that affect how pharmacy was practiced?
Well, the internet first affected the pharmacy practice in the sense that those who are doing community pharmacy or hospital pharmacy now are very able to track the stocks in the pharmacies. They were able to document the drugs for the patients more efficiently than when it was manual. In the teaching, it came fast. Obviously, it has been evolving fast. We had overhead. We don't call it IT anymore. But then we started doing a PowerPoint. It made teaching easier for the lecturers. But I could see it was making students more uncomfortable because of the rate of the delivery then was faster than they could write. So we tended to give handouts, and especially in pharmaceutical chemistry, because there's a lot of chemistry and structures. Then I think since then, when I've been more less out of teaching, is the issue of access to information. Now students really can have access to information, and it keeps the lecturers on their toes, because students will always spring on them questions on things which are most current. So it forces lecturers to be current. It forces lecturers then to be able to articulate answers beyond the normal way of teaching. Yes. And remember, students will ask you a question on a narrow can I call scope? But so a lecturer needs to have the bigger scope to be able to address those. So I think for me is the information then available to lecturers and staff is nearly the same. The lecturer has to up their game to be able to satisfy the expectation of students.
Okay, thank you. And so, what would you want to be remembered as your mark in the field of pharmacy in Kenya?
Well, you know, sometimes the mark really is, there are so many things which I have been fast in. I have told you I was the first one to introduce postgraduate training. I was the first pharmacist to be the principal College of Health Science. Well, I can tell you I was the first one to be a DVC. I'm the first one to be VC. But that's really not what I want to be remembered in. I want to be remembered in the issues or things that we introduced which are contributing positively to the practice of pharmacy. One, for the industrial sector, the training on pharmaceutical analysis and industrial pharmacy, those two. Then in clinical pharmacology, which really I had to push, not clinical pharmacology, clinical pharmacy, which I had to push despite not having lecturers, because I remember I had to negotiate to employ lecturers to start us off. This has impacted nationwide the perception and the image of pharmacy.
And that is what...
That's what I would like to be remembered, that my actions led to the clearer understanding of the contribution of pharmacy to the well-being or to the health of the society, and also to the commercial aspect of pharmacy, which is industrial production and exports.
And we're coming to the conclusion now. And so, what do you see as the vision of pharmacy in the next 50 years?
Well, so many things have changed. Some good, some bad. But I think the way I see it, it's going to reach a point where we are going to revert back. Remember, currently we are having pharmacy practice is gone commercial online and is being abused. So we may see some of the restrictions we had when we were young creeping back to be able to safeguard can I call longevity of drug molecules, specifically antibiotics and others which normally will lead to resistance. Yes.
Okay. And so that we can curb this abuse, what is your suggestion? How do you see this vision being achieved?
Well, it is simply for the Pharmacy and the Poisons Board to be able to categorize drugs clearly and put those which you need to get a prescription and those which you can buy over the counter. The over-the-counter medication can actually then be allowed to be, you can trade on them online, but remember sometimes the normal over-the-counter medication can lead to abuse. So it is now to evaluate the pharmacology, the long usage, the overdosages, what the effect is, and be able to categorize nicely to allow that to go on hand in hand with the restricted or controlled self-treatment, so that we don't have, if I might call it, abuse of or unregulated usage, which leads to drugs becoming irrelevant within a short period.
Okay. And as a final note, we'd like to give you the opportunity to send a message of congratulations and best wishes to the UN Pharmacy alumni as we celebrate, including you, because you are a UN Pharmacy alumni.
I am a pharmacy alumni of the University of Nairobi.
Yes.
And I take this opportunity to congratulate all the alumni from the University of Nairobi, and urge them to support the alma mater, and also to look out and embrace others, such that together we are a cohesive pharmacy professionals.
Okay, and that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Your rich and enlightening insights. Yes, we hope that they shall be taken to serve the coming generations.
Thank you. Thank you.